Thank you.
Tony Lopez here in
Empty now and quiet blue horizon in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, on North Broad Street. Bob Papa along with Dave Bontempo. Lots and lots of knockout action here in Philadelphia this evening. And it all started off at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Tony Dynamite Green stepped out into the ring, and with one left hand, he just blasted Fernando Rodriguez into oblivion. Rodriguez came in with a record of 6-0. Truly an outstanding prospect, as is Green. And Green was just awesome tonight. Maybe a little bit different than Fuentes. You didn't feel Fuentes was warmed up. You felt he was almost unprofessional there. But Rodriguez was just outdone by Green. Green was very impressive after the loss to Harold Warren a couple weeks back.
And the explosive start by Green setting the tone tonight. When you catch a fighter coming out of the gate like that and you land that first big shot, then you go for the rest of it. So many fighters try to get that first punch in, and when it doesn't get in, then they step back and get into a normal fight plan. But this time, the first shot got in, and Tony Green followed it all the way through to set up some classic scenarios with some other big knockouts.
Yeah, well, we came on at 9 o'clock, and by 9:07, we were looking for more boxing action. We saw Barrington White, a unanimous decision over Jerry Rash. Luis Andino, a first-round knockout over Steve Martin in Martin's pro debut, and then in our main event, yet another first-round knockout, Rockin' Rodney Moore against Mario Fuentes. 146 of round number one. Well, earlier this evening, we had about to start things off 6 rounds of junior welterweight action. Jose Avila against Tracy Muse. Here's the tail of the tape. Muse at 5'8", Avila at 5'7". Muse a half-pound heavier at 145 to 144 and a half. The reach advantage and the age advantage as well. 6 rounds of junior welterweight action. Jose Avila against Tracy Muse. Let's pick up the action with round number one, scheduled for 6 in the junior welterweight division. This is round number one. It is scheduled for 6. These are junior welterweights.
We've got a contrast of momentum coming in with Avila 3-1 this year. And Muse, one fight, a third-round knockout, but Avila's 5-4. Muse comes in at 9-2.
Avila is still in school at 22 years of age, in high school, trying to learn English. Remember, he was born in Honduras, now living in New York.
Two pretty good punchers in there, too. 4 knockouts for Avila in 9 fights, and Muse with 5 in 11, 50% ratio.
It's very rare that we are at the blue horizon, and there is not a Philadelphia fighter in the fight. Fighter's a bit cautious, trying to get the jab out here in round one. A lot of feinting.
Avila gets his points behind the jab, but his knockouts have come with counter shots.
The fighter's having trouble finding the range right now. Both fighters appear in top condition. Avila 144 and a half pounds, Muse at 145.
And Avila's starting a little faster. He's got a better feel so far, having the 4 fights already this year, including 2 in 10 days.
Muse got a left in there, but didn't really affect Avila. Short with the right hand. Now Muse in the black trunks finding the mark a little bit, although still backing up. Referee Rudy Battle lets the fighters work their way out of this one. Time remaining in round one, approaching 25 seconds. We approach the final 10 seconds of round number one. It's scheduled for 6. These are junior welterweights.
far away from him. You gotta get closer. Work your way inside. Jab, left hook to the body, and right hand over the top. Okay? You can't keep backing up and winning the fight. You're making a bad fight. You gotta try to fight short. You understand what I'm saying? What is jumping right hook back on him? Keep the jab in his face. You understand what I mean? Right hand to the body, hook back to the head real quick. Okay.
Quiero que me le trabaje el cuerpo nada más, ¿ok? A la barriga, tranquilito, ¿ok? Dame agua.
Agarra bien fuerte, ¿no?
Sí, está bien que te agarre fuerte porque ya sintió la pegada que tú tienes, ¿tú entiendes? Tranquilo, calmadito, está haciendo bien. Coge aire.
Not a bad seat in the house at the Blue Horizon on North Broad Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Glad you could join us. Bob Papa along with Dave Bontempo. Tracy Muse out of Baltimore in the black trunks comes out charging here to start round number 2. Jose Avila out of New York by way of Honduras trying to counter.
And Muse had his warm-up round, and he came out firing here in the second. He landed some good power shots in the first round. He's going to look to put a few more together here.
Not much real lateral movement from both men. They'll bob in and out, but once one man throws a punch, the other guy will go into a shell right in front of his man.
One reason we haven't seen too much so far in the way of combinations. Fighters landing a punch and then backing up and circling out of the range of getting a second shot in.
Muse has in his corner Mac Lewis, who works with Vincent Petway, a fighter we've seen here on Sports Channel America before.
And a glancing left hook by Muse. Wanted to get a little bit closer when he threw that.
Dia tries to hook to the head, does not score.
Muse might have to be a little more methodical about getting inside. Duck down and bob and weave his way in.
Now Muse has some blood coming out of his mouth, although I haven't really seen him hit.
He wants to trade with Avila so far, but the speed has been to Avila's advantage. Muse wants to slow this down. First, he's got to get close enough to land some body shots.
See, round 2, these are junior welterweights. Jose Avila in the white, Tracy Muse in the black. Just misses with the uppercut. Time remaining in round 2.
Avila fighting with a lot of confidence so far. Not afraid to try different things, get his punches out. He's usually the first one off the mark.
Come to the end of round number 2. Tracy Muse against Jose Avila.
Quede para atrás. Tranquilo. Calmado, no de eso mucho.
When you get inside, you understand what I'm saying? Okay.
El chamaco ya de eso. Quiero que me trabaje la barriga. Olvídate, dámele agua. Olvídate de la cabeza, ¿ok? Búscamele el cuerpo. ¿Está bien? Vamos a quietarlo porque está corriendo mucho. Cuidado con la izquierda esa. Mantiéneme las manos arriba, ¿ok? Tranquilo, coge aire.
Round number 3 underway. Tracy Muse in the black trunks. Jose Avila in the white with the blue. These are junior welterweights scheduled for 6 from the Blue Horizon in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Pretty even fight, I guess, Dave, through 2. Now Avila and Muse come out exchanging to start round 3 as they pick up the pace.
They both have the same idea in this fight. Avila's been just a little bit more aggressive. Muse has been fighting in spurts so far. He's going to have to be a little more consistent.
5-point must system in the state of Pennsylvania. 3 knockdown rule in effect, standing 8 count in effect as well. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell except in the final round.
So far what's happening here is that Avila is sticking to the style which got him here. The jabbing, stay outside kind of a style. And Muse has not been able to take that away from him. Muse cannot get inside. He cannot force a street war.
Avila short, but Muse continues to retreat. Midway point of round 3.
And at last, some body punching in this fight being done by Avila.
Avila trying to hook to the right to the body. Muse gets away.
He's turning into the shots nicely.
If Muse is a bit tired the way he's just backing up.
Watch the way Avila gets all kinds of time to wind up when he gets in the corner. He gets time to plant, turn the body, and let it go.
Well, that combination got inside by Avila. Good round for Jose Avila. Muse reminds me a lot of Vincent Petway. And the fact that he seems to get lulled into fighting off the ropes in exchanges. Both from Baltimore, both working with Mac Lewis.
Well, right now, Muse is lost out there. He's searching for a clue to turn this fight around. He's reacting instead of causing things to happen.
And he continues to backpedal. Jose Avila chasing Tracy Muse around the ring. Final seconds of round number 3. It's scheduled for 6. Avila against Muse.
Quiero que me trabajes a la barriga más. El chamaco te tiene miedo a la barriga, pero cúbrete bien. Cuando entre mi idea al lado, pum, pum, arriba.
Come on, son. The only way you can win is by fighting. You can't win the fight by
man.
running.
Tracy Muse and Jose Avila come to the center of the ring as we begin this 4th round, scheduled for 6 junior welterweights. Muse in the black trunks, Avila in the white and blue. Good round 3 for Avila. And now Muse coming out.
He's responding like he needs the turnaround, and he's going to try to do it behind the left hook.
Avila scores, though, with a left to the head and then a right to the body.
And Muse is moving too much to do any damage offensively. He's circling the ring, trying to get reset. And Avila teeing off.
Muse letting Avila just muscle him.
And he's having to wait on Avila. He doesn't really have the idea of how to get off first, except for with that left hook, which you saw him from far out, and he's going over the top. In some respects, this is target practice for Avila.
Avila trying to dig to the body. Midway point of round number 4. Another wild miss by Muse.
Muse has started the last 2 rounds strongly and then faded. His conditioning could be a problem here.
He's taken some shots, not a large amount.
but the shots he's taking should not be slowing him up to the degree they are. Some are getting in, but he's blocking his fair share, too. Right now, Muse in a lull. He's playing off what Avila does. And you can't score points that way.
I don't know if Tracy Muse has landed one clean punch in this round.
Well, in the beginning, he got the left hooks in, but that's been it. And he's too far out.
Avila is starting to gain some confidence. The 22-year-old fighting out of New York. Avila stumbled, and it looked like he may have been hurt. Clock continues to tick down here in round 4. Avila against Muse. More after this.
Baja la cabeza ahí. Oye, aire. ¿Cómo estamos de aire? ¿Estamos bien? Ok.
¿Levanta aquí, va?
¿Ah?
¿Levanta aquí?
No, estás perfecto, muchacho. Estás nuevo. No, espera. No.
You control them.
Yeah. Muse telegraphs his shots, and you're going to see the result of that telegraphing, the counter shots by Avila, who's just been all over him. Here, he does it from the outside.
And we begin this 5th round from atop the ring at the blue horizon. Tracy Muse against Jose Avila. How do you have it scored through 4?
So far, a 4-point fight with Avila winning every round, a couple of them very closely. I think Muse has a lot of catching up to do, and he doesn't have much time.
He appears to be losing his stamina in each round at around the midway point.
He starts out each round quickly, and then hits a gas tank problem midway through, and Avila comes on and takes the rounds away from him. Now time is an asset of Avila and the enemy of Muse. You can see he's kind of just pawing out there, looking to find a solution, but he's not really thinking about what it is. He can't grasp it. He's only had one fight since November.
Muse saying he's not hurt, but he continues to get hit by Avila. Midway point of round 5. Scheduled for 6. These fighters are a junior welterweight.
Here's a case, Bob, where Muse may have the stronger punch, but Avila came in here with 4 fights this year. He's always in the gym, in shape, always ready. And he's got a rhythm in what he's doing. That's why he's carrying the fight. Muse landed a good left hook there, but had no follow-up.
Now he seems a little mad. But just for a second, back into his style of retreating. Tracy Muse in the black trunks.
He's still thinking one punch at a time, and it affects fighters who haven't been in there in a little while. It's a certain feel you get from fighting a lot. Plus the style of Avila not made for Muse's liking either. Avila is elusive.
Now we're seeing some lateral movement from Avila. More than we saw early on. Tracy Muse in the black trunks appears to be running out of time. We're running out of time in round number 5. Tracy Muse in the black, Jose Avila in the white. Back with the 6th round. And we begin the 6th and final round. Tracy Muse in the black trunks, Jose Avila in the white trunks. Junior welterweights, and really after round number 1, Jose Avila has taken control, Dave Bontempo.
He's had more stamina in each round. He's won the last 2 minutes of each round. He stayed outside and done some smart boxing. For him, the ideal strategy here in the last round would be to stay on the outside. But if it goes the distance, you never know how it's going to turn out.
Avila with a 5-3 record. Muse at 9-2 with 5 knockouts. Avila with 4 knockouts. There's a left hand by Muse.
And Avila helping Muse this round by going after him. He is stalking Muse. He's not elusive like he was before. Probably feels he needs the round.
Well, Avila, a young fighter, just 22 years of age, and inexperience may be showing here. But he answers back. Good body shot by Avila.
Well, this kind of style does open it up for power.
Just past the midway point of the 6th and final round. And this crowd here at the Blue Horizon just loves slugfest. They'll cheer at any punches thrown. Blood now coming out of the nose of Muse, as you can see it on your screen, and the mouth.
And Avila reacted to it, coming on stronger after he saw it.
Now Muse retreating like he did in the early rounds.
It's like he took his shot for this round, and that's it.
That right was short by Muse. Timeout now by referee Rudy Battle, as there's some loose tape, and he lets the fighters continue. 6th and final round.
The way Avila ducks into that left hook. If Muse was timing it, he could take a little shuffle step to the right and land a counter shot flush. But he hasn't picked up on that. Because when Avila ducks in for the left hook, Muse is going back instead of over.
Jose Avila trying to hook to the head. 10 seconds to go in the fight. And it ends without much of a skirmish. Both fighters head back to their corners. Jose Avila out of New York City via Honduras, and there is Tracy Muse out of Baltimore back to his corner. After 6 rounds, the fans here at the Blue Horizon cheering both fighters on. It was a pretty good fight. Both men, young men. Should be an interesting decision. Muse against Avila. And judges Guy Richardson, Marsh. We're gonna have it.
Joe Frazier sitting down right alongside of us. Joe, do you know something that just hit me, champ? Do you realize it was 19 years ago that you fought that Ali fella the first time?
19 years ago, and I still feel good.
You still feel good?
I feel good. I'm still running and staying in shape and driving all over the world where I have to go and do things I have to do to help the people.
Well, when you say you help the people, you're also involved with a lot of youngsters. You're involved with a lot of youngsters, getting them into this fight game.
I would say, number one, let's say Marvis is running the gymnasium out in Philadelphia, doing a fine job with it. And let's say is help keeping the boys out of trouble in the gymnasium in the city. And he's learning the business real well.
Now, when you say that, there's so much truth in that. There are the people who say this sport hurts people. I say this sport saves people's lives.
I don't see where boxing hurt anybody. Let's say if you, it's like any job. If you're not preparing yourself for the right particular job, you will get hurt. Baseball, football, basketball, any type of sports that you get involved in. This is job, period. If you're not ready for the job, you can get hurt.
Okay, but you alluded to the fact that Marvis is helping the kids, helping not only learn how to fight, but giving them some direction in their life.
I think Marvis doing a fine job, and He's a church-going young man, and he's doing fine. I think that every father should have a son like Marvis. He's let's say, asset to me and a plus.
Well, you might say the same thing about you. Every son should have a father like Joe Frazier. Listen, just a couple of weeks ago, NBC comes and they show the Thriller in Manila. Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it. I did, let's say,
They go to ratings, Joe.
review of it. Number one, I just think that somewhere down the line that we should come up with something so that these great fighters that was in these fights can get some conversation, that we call it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Some love, you know what I mean? After all, the fights, after 20 years later, the fight's still there, but the guys who've been doing these stuff, I guess, we didn't know that these things were going to come about, so therefore we just said, okay, it's 4 million, 2 million, that's it. But I think that Muhammad and myself and all the great guys should get some love.
The love that you have for that man. Tell me about that. Can you put it succinctly, the love you have for Muhammad Ali?
Well, the love I was talking about, the M-O-N-E-Y.
Oh, is that right?
Well,
You mean you don't even like him, huh?
I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. We get along. I would say, number one, that
Respect, right?
when the bell rang, let's say it was war between him and I, but now it's all over. You know, I look out for him. If I can do something to help him, sure I will, you know, because this could happen to anybody, you know what I mean? It's not something that, let's say, destined to just one particular person. It can happen to anybody.
Joe, thanks so much, and thank you for dropping by and saying hello to us, and we're going to see more of you.
No problem.
Okay. The champ, Joe Frazier, our guest here.
In round number one, that fight was stopped at 122 of round number one. Jones now 9-0 with 7 knockouts, his 4th first-round knockout. And now we have junior welterweight action, 4 rounds. Luis Andino against Robin David. We've seen Andino before here on Sports Channel America. He beat Pampo Velasquez. There is Robin David, 1-0 from New York City, 25 years of age. And there is Luis Andino, 3-0 with 3 knockouts, fighting out of Philadelphia. He is a good, hard puncher. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for our next bout of the evening. Andino at 5'5", David at 5'6".